Same people that he told them to exterminate or terminate in the get-go.
Exactly.
Instead of facing going war, many battles with the same people he told them to destroy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is where it's going to get interesting at. Very, very interesting. Listen, God. The word David means, or Dawood, it means beloved, my beloved. The root word is Dodi or Dod, and it means uncle. It means love. So we see a whole lot that's actually being attached to the definition of the word David. And in Hebrew, names mean something. All right? David was the second king in Yashra'al, right? Who was the first king? Right. Shaul. Let's see here. We're going to dissect this here. What tribe was Shaul from? Right, Benjamin. Benjamin. You see a problem here? Anybody see a problem? We have the first king in Israel is a Benjamite.
He's not from the Zionism.
Right.
He's not from the tribe of Judah.
There you go. Exactly. There you go. So we was to go down, Zacchaeus, you can go to Bereshit 49 and 10.
Yahuah was the Hittite.
Right.
Was he part of the giants?
We're going to get into that a little bit, whether or not he was part of the giants. That's actually, I'm going to answer your question in just a few more minutes.
Okay.
Yes, 49 and 10. How we doing with time? You good? Okay. Bereshit 49 and 10.
The scepter should not depart from Yahudah, nor the lawgiver from between his feet.
Right. So we see now this majestic kingship was supposed to be going through the line of Judah. The word Shaul. Let's look at that now. We know he's from the tribe of Benjamin. Because what I'm trying to do here again is make sure that we have a nice understanding on who David was and what the Father is actually doing. The word Shaul. He was Israel's first king, right? The word Shaul means desire. So what's so important about the word desire or desired? Let's go to 1 Samuel. Let's see how all of this ties in. The Father makes no mistakes. No mistakes at all. We're going to go to 1 Samuel. First Samuel, the 8th chapter. Now remember, Shaul is the first king, and the word Shaul means desire or desire. And it came to pass when Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in Samuel's ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes, and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto Samuel, Behold, thou art old, and your sons walk not in the ways of Torah, and now make us a king to judge us like the nations. But the thing displeased Samuel, when they said, Give us a king to judge us, and Samuel prayed to Yahuah. Watch verse 7. And Yahuah said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto you. For they have not rejected you, Samuel, but they have rejected me, the Father, that I should not reign over them, according to all the works which they have done since the days that I brought them or us out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other Elohims, so do they also unto you. And therefore hearken unto their voice, although, or howbeit, yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. So to show you what type of person Shaul is going to be. Now watch this now. Being that the Father is giving them, or giving Israel, Shaul, you can now see the definition of Shaul's name, because Israel desired, a king. So we have Shaul because Israel desired a king. All right? So when we now go back to Scripture, why wasn't a Judite the first king? Because Israel, again, desired Shaul. You told?
Yeah.
Okay, hallelujah. And he said, This will be the manner of the king that should rule over you. He would make your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over fifties, and will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war and instruments of chariots. And he would take your daughters to be confectionaries, and to be cooks, and to be bakers. And he would take your fields, and your vineyards, and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. And he would take the tenth of your seed, and of your vineyards, and give to his officers and to his servants. And he will make your men servants, and your maid servants, and your goodliest young men, and your asses, and put them to his work. And he will take the tenth of your sheep, and you shall be his servants. And you shall cry out in that day because of your king Shaul, who you desired. Nevertheless, and you shall cry out in that day because of your king which you have chosen. You and Yahuah will not hear you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, No, but we will have a king rule over us, that we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go before us and fight our battles. And Samuel heard all the words of Israel, and he rehearsed them in the ears of Yahuah. And Yahuah said unto Samuel, Hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, Go you every man into his city. Very, very important. Now, the Father loved David so much that he made a covenant with him. These are some of the reasons why I like David so much, is that the Father, again, he loved David so much that he made a covenant with him. Not just any covenant, but he made an everlasting covenant with David. Let's have some of the sisters go in. We haven't heard from Shema in a while, so if you can go to the book of Psalms, the 89th chapter, verses 35, 37, and if we can have Akoti Rose to go to the book of Acts, the 13th chapter, verse 34. Acts 13, 34, and we're going to have Shema 10. You guys be kidding. Wow. So Psalms 89, 35, 7, please.
You said Psalms 85, right?
89, excuse me. 89.
Verse 35.
35.
89, 35. Psalms 89, verse 35. Once have I sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David. His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. It shall be established forever as the moon, as a faithful witness in Shabbat.
Hallelujah. So, an everlasting covenant, right? And we're talking about the seed of David. When we say the seed of David, another word for the seed of David, we're talking about the house of David. And so when we say the seed of David or the house of David, we're actually speaking of the Mashiyach. More Eliyahu, please, if you can go to Yeshayahu 55 and 3. But we have Rose, Akoti Rose. She's going to do Acts 13:34 for us.
Acts 13:34.
Yes.
Acts 13:34. And that he raised him out of the dead, no more to return to corruption. He has said, thus I shall give you the trustworthy kindness of David.
Right. Hallelujah. And Moray, if you please, the book of Yeshayahu 55 and 3.
Isaiah 55 and 3. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you.
An everlasting covenant with the seed of David or the house of David.
Even the sure mercies of David.
Hallelujah. Now, Akoti Shoshana, she asked a very good question. David was a mighty man of war, just like Zakena spoke earlier. But the question is, who was David? And why was David always fighting? All right, who were some of these people that David were fighting?
Seed of Nephilim.
He was fighting with, in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, verses 1 through 6, Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Jebusites, all of these people here. Now, we need to know who these people are. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 10th chapter. Who are these people? Deuteronomy, the 10th chapter. (15 through 18) I'm going to read. Let's see. Right. One second, Mr. Carr. Genesis 10th chapter, verses 15. We're going to look at a very important or interesting person here. We're going to look at Canaan for a minute. C-A-N, what is it? A-A, is it? Let me see. A-A-N. We need to look at this person right here for a minute. And Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, in Het, and the Jebusites came from Canaan, and the Amorites came from Canaan, and the Girgashites came from Canaan, and the Hivites came from Canaan, and the Archites came from Canaan, and the Sunites, and the Arvadites, and the Zemarites, and the Hamathathites, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Let's go down to Deuteronomy 7 and 1. Deuteronomy 7 and 1. Again, we read this earlier. When Yahuah thy Elohim shall bring thee into the land, whether thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mighty than thou. We know that the Father said that we're supposed to utterly destroy these people. So the question still remains, who are these people? David and Shaul were constantly going to war with, and like Zakane has said, and this Isha has said, these people were giants, Nephilims. Okay, the fall, which means to fall. So these were giants, Nephilims, coming from what line? Cain. 5 minutes. Now, but we have a problem. The scripture said that the giants were killed off before the flood. So how did they return? Let's go to Bereshit, the 6th chapter, verse 9. It's not too much trouble, Mr. Carr. I would love to kind of like to finish this lesson here. I'm not going to be here next week. Please. Yeah, so just let me know when to stop, all right? Yeah, because we're about to go into a few things here. And again, it is not going to be personal. It is not personal. Everything I'm about to say is going to be in the scripture. Now, verse 9, it says verse 8, but Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahuah. Again, Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahuah. These are the generations of Noah. We are not talking about Noah's father. Not Noah's father. So all attention should be focused on Noah. Noah was a just man, and Noah was perfect. The word for perfect is tamayim. Tamayim. It means perfect. Noah was perfect in his walk. Noah was also perfect in his genes, his genetics. All right, so this is all about genetics. From beginning to end is talking about genetics. So many times, okay, I'm trying to paint a picture, and I'm not trying to take everybody the long way, but I want to make sure that we understand exactly what's going on. Now, the word Zerah, everybody know it means seed. The word Adam, we have the olive, we have the dalet, and we have the mint. That's the ancient Hebrew, but if we did it the other way, we have the olive, the dalet, and we have actually the mem sophie, because that's the last letter. Now, when we begin to break this word down here, because this word Zerah means seed, and we're talking about Noah here. And the reason why Noah and Adam, I'm trying to draw this parallel here, is because the word Dam means what? Dam means blood. Blood, right? When we have the creation story of Adam, this olive is going to be very important. When the Father began to breathe into Adam, the one that's actually breathing into Adam is the strong leader, this olive target, this ox here, the olive. He's going to actually breathe into man, give man his essence. Give man his essence of, okay, great. You're going to stop right there, Mr. Kai.